Thank you, Peter, for your kind introduction. And okay, welcome to all of you. Good morning to also to the people who are online. So today I will present a talk entitled Light Communication Alliance, a key institution for a greener ICT. So the content of my talk will be split into different parts. The first one is will be dedicated to the Light Communication Alliance to give you some key information. Then I will move to the motivation for us to go toward a greener ICT. And there will be a zoom on the optical technologies, since there are key technologies to make the ICT greener. And finally, we will do we have done some analysis concerning the optical wireless technologies that can pave the way to new added value services in a sustainable way. And then I will draw a conclusion. So Light Communication Alliance in a nutshell. So the objective, first of all, of this alliance, it can be summarized through the three following actions. So first of all, motivation. So what is the motivations? The objective is to deliver the benefits of ubiquitous light communications to serve people, and technology requires a far-reaching and coherent ecosystem working at a determinate pace. For the missions, we are driving a consistent, focused, and concise approach to market education that will highlight the benefit use cases and timelines for light communications. And how? By aligning leaders across every industry to develop or envisage business models using light communication system and technology, by defining a standard of education in an efficient communication and cooperation frame. So concerning the memberships, it can be split into different categories. So we have Li-Fi key players, applications, operators, equipment vendors, networking and security, university and research institutes. Our general chairman is Mark Fleschen. He is also the CEO of the 01 company. And you can see on the right side the different company shared into the different six categories listed. So well beyond the motivation of the members, the inclusion model is strongly motivated to orient this technology in the right direction and align with the big evolution of the ICT. This is why one of them will be discussed just after, concerning the green aspects, or anticipating also new needs for vertical segments. So you have the logos of the LCA members. In particular, you can see that we have big companies, operators, key and strategic company realizing, in fact, this technology, light communication, and more particularly Li-Fi technologies, and research institutes. Okay, we have also some partners. So the Light Communication Alliance has created links with other alliances. These alliances are the Wi-Fi Alliance, the Ethernet Alliance, mainly to interact with on the Ethernet backbone, the CABA Alliance, focused on the in-building topics, and the Smart Building Alliance, targeting the identification of relevant solutions for smart cities. If we do a zoom on light communication technologies now, we are looking at three key technologies. The first one is Li-Fi technology, which is a bidirectional technology requiring an additional physical layer with a new source, LEDs or lasers, mainly vertical cavity surface emitting lasers and photodiodes, and in some version, new data link layer. The spectrum exploited for this technology is either the visible spectrum or the infrared spectrum. For the downstream, either visible light or infrared light can be used, depending on the use cases. The second one is OCC technology. OCC means optical camera communication technology. It describes a unidirectional technology exploiting the camera as a photo detector. And so it can be used for indoor positioning, but also to receive data from from the network. And finally, the last one is a free space optics technology that describes a bidirectional wireless optical communication systems. It is currently used for the backhauling in outdoor, but it has also some potential for indoor applications. On the right side, I put two key figures. The first one is Alexander Graham Bell in 1881, a long time ago. He invents a photophone, sound transmitted with an optical ray over 200 meters. And the second one is Professor Al Haas, who gave a talk at the TED Global Talk, where he introduced the idea of wireless data from every light. So these two people are key people for this domain. So Li-Fi technology, if I do a zoom, there is one standard, the IEEE 802.11bb, which has been finalized this year. It targets a mass market by adopting an optical antenna instead of a radio frequency antenna, and it is based on the Wi-Fi protocols. So several companies are proposing a Li-Fi technology like True Li-Fi by Signify, Pure Li-Fi, or OLEDCom. And the bitrate can be as high at 100 gigabit per second. It was demonstrated at CES 2022 by also Professor Al Haas. So you have on the right side some picture of products that are on the market. So Li-Fi is really a complementary technology with respect to radio frequency technologies, offering high bitrates, high level of security, and an alternative for electromagnetic sensitive environments. Optical camera communication in the LCA, the 01 company is proposing a product. So it's a wireless communication technology offering indoor positioning capabilities. It can decode the data from embedded camera of a smartphone based on a standard, and many smartphones are compatible with this standard. And the services offered are geomapping, data analysis, location-based services. Finally, if I can say you a few words about the LCA, join the LCA for helping the world to communicate by collaborating with active members in this field, contributing to the emergence of a new green technology and by building new products, helping also 6G to be greener through technology complementarity, and driving also research on this topic to innovate and push limits also of this technology. You have the website link here also on this slide. Okay, let me move now on the second part, motivation for a greener city. So we analyzed what could be the projection by 2030. Concerning the electricity demand to the grid, to the international grid, so the global production of electricity. And so on the first graph on the left side of the slide, you can see that in 2020, the demand in electricity to the grid was close to 11%. So it's not negligible. The digital network is asking 11% of the electricity to the global electricity production. And so the question is, what will be this percentage in 2030? So for this, we look at first the production of electricity worldwide. And so what we can see, so you can recover the same figures here, 26,000 around terawatt here for 2020. And we have to analyze the slope and the progression in terms of electricity production. So this is the first information we have. We see also an asymptotic curve for CO2 emission primary sources. And the second curve shows here the projection of the electricity consumption of the ICT by 2030. It was an article published in Nature.com. And what we can see is from 2020 to 2030, we see a strong acceleration of the electricity consumption. So this is important then to analyze what could be this percentage. So they say clearly that we could reach 8,200 terawatt-hours in 2030, and it represents 21%. So 21% when we projected on this curve where we were if it was only 21%, and we are close to 40,000 terawatt-hours. And when you look at the slope, it indicates that we are in the acceleration of the production of electricity, which is not, it is an optimistic curve, an optimistic tendency. So what we did, we look at a more conservative tendency to apply the same slope as the previous decade, and here we are closer to 26%. And if we are crossing crises of energies, and if there is a slowdown in the production of electricity, then it could reach 30%. So this means that we need to react at the ICT level to make it greener. And this is really important because it can impact also the market directly. So where the energy consumption is critical, so this is a diagram extracted from the Green Touch project between 2010 and 2015. It was in 2013. And so what we can see, but the tendency is the same today. So what we can see is that the power consumption is mainly generated in the data center and in the infrastructure, but mainly in the access part. So this is why we need to, and the light communication technology is in this part. So this is why it's important to analyze its impact on these network segments. So just to zoom also on optical technologies. So because they have the potential to be green solutions. So let me show you this network infrastructure slide showing figures published by Orange Networks in 2020. So these are the real values from our French operator. And that shows that the fiber to the home technology, so the optical technology, drives very low energy consumptions. So with respect to the others, so these are old technologies, but we need to compare to this and to this also. And so the key message is that optical technology are contributing to a reduced electricity demand. To propose new solutions, there are different directions to reduce electricity demand, the constraint. So we have mainly three directions. The first one is extract from the grid the identified network element that is responsible for a non-neglectable part of the electricity demand. It can be through microgrid, so you locally produce the electricity using solar panels, and then you can reduce considerably the contribution to the global grid. The second one is to redesign the product by adopting eco-design rules. And the third one is the eco-management techniques. This is usually used when the product exists and you want to put it in a sleeping mode to take into account, for example, the environment. And so it's a way to really optimize also the energy consumption. The artificial intelligence could play an important role to react in time and to guarantee also the services while activating these eco-management techniques. Here a zoom on the passive optical LAN that are eco-design solutions. So an eco-design solution means that you have mainly two parts. The first part is the main structure design for a long operation time, so it can be a fiber infrastructure, for example. And the second one is a modular part to adapt the main structure to the needs in real time and make the upgrade at the minimum carbon footprint. So you can see here on the right side a passive optical LAN, a local area network. It's based simply on the passive fiber infrastructure, and you have at the extremity, on the aggregation part, the OLT, and on the user part, an ONT device. But when you look at the gain at the TCO level, you can see that you gain on the CAPEX and the OPEX level because you simplify your network. You remove a lot of switching operation inside the network. It's purely passive. And the electricity consumption is really reduced. So typically, the last measurement we did last year show that this technology can save up to 82% of electricity consumption with respect to a classical LAN. We did also the same analysis with optical ring or optical buses. In the previous, we were adopting a tree topology. Here, it's more for broadcast and select. And so we compare also an Ethernet LAN and an optical ring LAN solution with a number of nodes that is close to 10 nodes. Okay, once again, we see also an advantage, a gain at the cost level and at the power consumption level. So let me go then to the main body of this presentation, optical wireless technologies. For the use case, we look at the buildings and we say, okay, we take a reference in terms of surface or volume. So we adopted a volume, a surface of 5,000 square meters. And we say, okay, we want to deploy different technologies on the roof, on the ceiling. So it can be Wi-Fi, can be Li-Fi, can be OCC. And the objective is to quantify, in fact, the power consumption of these different solutions with respect to a classical deployment using a classical LAN plus only the Wi-Fi technology. For the Wi-Fi access point, we took a reference in terms of power consumption on this link. So where we have figures for the Wi-Fi 6. It depends on the number of antenna you have in your access point. So, but you can see that the power consumption could be 10 watts up to 20 watts. Depending on the configuration on the system. And we have also for the Wi-Fi repeater a power consumption close to, I would say, 3 watts. For the OCC access point, the specification of products have been adopted, and for the Li-Fi access point, is the same. We did measurement on the product we could have to really compare the light communication with the Wi-Fi communication. So we analyze first the fixed wireless access scenario. So fixed wireless access means that you need identified spotlight and to provide specific services with an added value. So Li-Fi is here deployed so it's not deployed everywhere, but in some points, for example, if you are in an airport, to illuminate a screen, an interactive screen, and give you all the information you need. So it's to offer business-to-business services. And the association of OCC and Li-Fi in the visible light is an efficient solution. We integrated also infrared source based on VCSELs, and it's still efficient. So you can see on the right side that when we compare the full deployment of Wi-Fi over the surface, with respect to located Li-Fi deployment, the Li-Fi and the OCC are negligible in terms of energy consumption. So we show that there are interest to deploy this technology since they are providing added value services at the minimum energy consumption. The second one is the full deployment, so it means that we are envisaging the full mobility in one specific case where the radio frequency are not accepted. For example, in an hospital, you enter inside the hospital, at a certain point, the radio frequency are cut. So you need an alternative in terms of technology to create this continuity. And now, since you need a mobility, you need a continuity, so you need to pay attention to this full deployment. For visible light, it's less than Wi-Fi, depending on the bit rate demand. Because you are reusing inside the building the existing lighting, so you don't have this power consumption provided by the lighting that is always on inside the buildings. So you have to the access point that is minimum, and it depends also on the bit rate. For the infrared, when using VCSEL lasers, the power consumption of the source is very, very small. And so we can see that if you want a large deployment, typically it's because you need higher bit rates. And the higher bit rate will increase a little bit the power consumption, which explain, in fact, the slope which is higher than using visible light. So it has higher potential, even with respect to the Wi-Fi, but you don't have the possibility here to deploy Wi-Fi, so it's really a good alternative. Then we did analysis on integrated solutions. So the objective was to say, okay, we have the access point, and now we want to analyze end-to-end solutions. So endpoints plus the backbone, the optical backbone, interconnecting these endpoints. And we focused our analysis in 3 main use cases. I would say when electromagnetic perturbation block the radio frequency, so we are obliged to use this light communication technology. The second use case is commercial centers. You don't need high bit rates, but the objective is to provide an access to the high quality services in the space or in the public space. And the third one is Industry 4.0, where here you have other constraints concerning the security and etc. and the higher bit rates also. So for the first case, when a radio frequency is not tolerated, the solution could be a combination of a passive optical line and Li-Fi. And you can see that you can reach still, even with infrared sources, 53% of energy consumption reduction with respect to the reference based on Ethernet, LAN, and Wi-Fi. But in that case, Wi-Fi cannot be activated. So it's really an alternative, but in addition, you gain in terms of energy consumption. For the second one, commercial center, this is where the gain is higher because you can have some. The deployment is the same. It's we are considering fixed wireless access, so it is distributed access points with added value services together with OCC, together with Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is integrated in this technology to provide the continuity and the mobility. Yes, I have. Thank you. And once again, here the gain in terms of power consumption is close to 75%. And for the last one, for the industry, it's okay. We increase the power consumption, but we still have a gain because it is used in fixed wireless access for the communication between the production machines and the ceiling, and you can have a need for higher bit rates. So this is why we have an increase of the bit rates. It can be even higher depending. But here you don't have the choice since you need high level of security and high bitrate communications. Okay, so analysis of different result tendency observed. So for electromagnetic sensitive environment, the Li-Fi technology becomes an alternative to a radio technology. So there is no other, I would say, powerful alternative to replace the radio frequency when radio frequency are not tolerated. For commercial center, the Li-Fi is deployed following a B2B market scheme. It's very efficient. It's for the backbone, a passive optical LAN technology is very efficient to lead to a higher energy efficient end-to-end solutions. For the Industry 4.0, I didn't say it just before, but we used an optical ring instead of a pole because we need machine-to-machine communication in Industry 4.0. So we need a bus or a ring to distribute the communication and enable direct communication between robots or machines. And so, so OCC is an interesting technology for guiding the robot parts, and the performance offered by the Li-Fi technology is the main catalyst for the solution adoption. Okay, just a few words about the fundamental for 6G KPIs. So if you look at the one KPI, which is the objective to reach 100 gigabit per second, so this bit rate has been obtained at the CES 2022, I said it just previously. For the high security, since the light doesn't cross the wall, and you can also control the beam in a better way than using radio frequencies, the security is increased. And for the energy efficiency, if we use, for example, VCSELs, the energy efficiency, the energy spent to transport a bit through a VCSELs, lasers, is in a range of few hundred of femtojoule per bit. So it's below 1 picojoule per bit, which is also the requirement for the 6G. So this technology is targeting at least 3 key requirements for the 6G. Okay, in conclusion, so in-building can contribute to a significant part of the global electricity consumption. Therefore, energy savings in that space will impact positively the worldwide ICT energy consumption reduction. Optical technology combining optical access points in complementarity with other technology like Wi-Fi and optical backbones, based on PON or optical buses can offer added value at low energy consumption. We demonstrated that it is possible then to propose new services in a sustainable way, continuity of service everywhere at any time, strong added value services, like indoor positioning or data broadcasting, and ultra-low latency latency backbone, since the complementarity of different optical technology can lead to record in terms of ultra-low latency. So the LCA is then a key institution contributing to make the ICT greener. It also paves the way to a sustainable 6G technology. Thank you for your attention.